Hello, and welcome to episode 5 of our Timberborn update for modded playthrough with the Folktales faction, cycle 13, day 1. And last time, we built a whole bunch of cool stuff, including this new housing complex here. Our friend here, wow, a farmer monument with his little, I don't know, bushel of wheat on his back. And, of course, this big, ugly, just nasty thing over here for our industrial stuff that we're going to get rid of eventually. But for right now, today we're going to be focusing on expanding our storage, frequently requested among many of you watching, to unblock all of my production by actually having places to put everything we're making. And we're going to keep on moving into different areas of the map. We've got this area pretty well handled, although there are a few other spots we can get to and take advantage of. But it's about time to start moving over into this half of the map, because there's some other stuff to get to. Specifically, a lot of scrap metal. And we also have an abandoned mine here, and more scrap metal, another abandoned mine. And then eventually, as promised, this area right here is going to have a whole lot of power and a whole lot of industrial stuff going on. But that is still many, many episodes away. So for right now, we'll just keep on keeping on over here and keep on storing power, taking advantage of everything that we can, and having a good time doing it. So, we have our water wheels here that aren't currently producing any power, but the power is going to be getting back up pretty soon because we have our water coming in from our source blocks going all the way around here. And that won't be an issue for very much longer. So I'm thinking the best thing that we can do right now is to start thinking about storage and thinking about how we want to expand the map logically. Of course, this is a very big map. It's 256 by 256. So there's no way we're just going to have one district for this entire thing. We're probably going to end up splitting it into quadrants at the very least. This area right here, and then this area right here is probably going to be a good candidate for a district. This area up here, this area up here, and then probably one more right here just for all of the production stuff eventually when we get there. So having that in mind, I think it would behoove us to have an area kind of in the middle, roughly, where there's a whole lot of storage. That way there's not a whole lot of shuffling of items between districts where you have to walk from one corner of the map to the other. Everything is kind of centrally located, at least on district borders. Then I think that's going to make things a lot easier. So we're going to start looking into that. Find a couple spots maybe where that would make sense. And think about the very first place we want to start a new district over here. And I think it's probably going to be right around here, just because this place has a whole lot of scrap metal. This place has some open land, or at least it will after we get rid of all these birch trees. And it's not too terribly far from everything else. And we could put this here and have a pretty decent spot somewhere in this area to maybe do a district crossing. Like right over here actually would not be bad, except this is kind of out of the way to get all the way up here, so we might have to do something else about that. But I think at least for the time being, we can start thinking about coming over here and all of that jazz. But for right now, we've got plenty of other stuff that we can be taking care of. Specifically, our sunflower seeds are currently holding back the production of our beaver bentos, Lunchables, whatever you want to call these things, packaged foods. And we're waiting on these potatoes to get used. I don't really think we need to have all these potatoes, but I hate to just, destroy stuff. So I think what we're going to go ahead and do, just so we have somewhere to put things, is build a couple more storages back here and start storing some of these other things here. Now we have a little bit right here with our chestnuts, so I'm not so worried about those. But we also need to be able to get into things. So I think for right now, this-ish right about here is probably pretty much as good as we're going to get. Just take a look at our raw storage. We don't have a lot of cattail root storage, but again, I don't really think we need to, because we have the cattail flower, and I mean, we just have so many right here. I don't think we're ever really going to run out, so I'm not too concerned about that Raw potatoes, we're already storing 200. Grilled potatoes, we're already storing 200. Well, it says we have 300 because we have the space in the grill and then the space in our packing plants. So it probably is actually in our best interest to have some more storage for grilled spatterdock and maple pastries, which would be right here. So let's do that. Or actually, hold up. Let's pause. Because I think I may have just said something dumb. We have all of these packing plants, right? So what we need to be storing in near where the beavers sleep is actually the packaged food. And if we store more packaged food, it's going to consume more of the ingredients, and we're not going to have to worry about storing as many of everything else. So let's just scratch what I said and just store a bunch of packaged food. Set this on turbo mode, get these guys going, and see what happens. Yeah, so once we have some other storage for that, that's going to be a much better use of space. I know it's less efficient to use these smaller warehouses. Well, these are the medium warehouses. But I think in the grand scheme of things, it's not really going to matter too much because all of this is going to be rebuilt anyway. And somewhere in here, we're going to have some sort of big storage area. So let's give our beavers a little bit of a helping hand here with that and let them go ahead and get started. Going to put in metal stairs. We get that access there. And then, as at least a couple of you said, you should use the metal stairs by your housing because that way every beaver that walks through here is going to get that boost. And it's not going to hit any of them that are actually in the housing, but they all have to walk by it, which is going to end up being, of course, a good thing. So we'll stick that guy there. I mean, realistically, at this point, we're making metal. We should just be building pretty much all of our stairs that aren't spirals or the curved ones. This should be metal stairs, so there should be the decorative stairs. And we should also start looking into using the decorative dam pieces as well, which we are definitely going to do at some point. I just have to figure out maybe a little bit of a better way of using those. And look at that. They're just automatically filling up all this packaged food stuff. Man, we're cooking. In fact, we're not even using the full capacity production-wise of all of these packing plants. We just don't have enough places to put these things. Yeah, the sunflower seeds are definitely going to be an issue. So we really need to be planting more. These potatoes are in the way. That is just a little irritating, just a little bit. So let's see, what else over here? Got wheat flour, we got cattail flour. This is raw potatoes, that's gears. Yeah, this storage is a mess. It is quite poor right now. So let's fill in a couple of our other small spots right here with, well, you guessed it, packaged food. That's really probably what we should be storing, focusing the most on in these different areas. I think for the most part, we're doing okay. We do have already one for packaged foods. So I think if we can just increase the amount of processing that's happening, then some of this stuff is going to clear itself up eventually. What we also need, though, is more water storage. And I know I said last time we're going to build one of these large tanks for water. So let's find ourselves a good spot for it. There's not really a ton of great places for them, if we're going to be completely honest with each other. But I think since this is already here, might as well just stick this guy. We'll put him, I guess we could put this right here. That's probably a better spot. So we'll stick that guy there. He'll hold 1,200 instead of each of these holding 3. Make sure that's marked for water. Prioritize that construction. They should be able to build that more or less instantaneously based on the inventory of materials that we have on hand. And that's really going to improve our whole logistics here, which means also, guess what? We can put some small warehouses on the back. And you're never going to guess what's going to go in there. That's right. It's packaged foods. Got to increase that capacity one way or the other. And get these guys to harvest these potatoes, because, man, we are just, we are swimming in potatoes. Are absolutely swimming in them. And as soon as they get rid of these, then, well, we're going to be looking pretty good In fact, I'm wondering if, based on the amount of potatoes we already have, if I can just get rid of all of these, it might actually be a better move just to grow a bunch of sunflower seeds over here, because we do have this dedicated potato farm. Well, almost dedicated. We're going to have to play with it a little bit. These guys are just using so many potatoes that they can't even, you know, do anything with the rest of them. What are we waiting on? Okay, they just hadn't finished it yet. All right. Well, that's an easy fix, and now that's going to be filled up. These should get filled pretty fast, I think. And I don't think we're really in a shortage of sunflower seeds, but we definitely need to be making more. Clearly, we have enough to maintain almost 1,700 in terms of our stock for the packaged foods. Oh, that was fast. Yeah, this is just a machine. All of this is... It's a machine that eats up raw materials and produces all these packaged foods. It's such a cheat code, man. It just makes it so easy to play the game. Alright, let's go ahead and get... oh, I might have made a mistake here. Yeah, we're going to have to sacrifice one of these trees. Just so I can put in a lumberjack flag. Yeah, we're going to start harvesting this wood. Then I think right here start putting in a bunch of storage. Just so everything is going to be ready to go. So let's put that guy there. And let's see. We have log storage here. We probably should be putting some more up here as well. Underground piles we're going to want to get to at some point. But I think that's going to be something we don't want to spend too much time on, because you can't build anything over them unless you have the mod things. Which we do, but we don't really have the resources to get to those yet. At least en masse. We have the side platforms that can go over those bridges, all that stuff. But for right now, we're not hurting for space, so I'm not really tempted to mess with it too much. Yeah, they'll start cutting all of this down just as soon as I, well, tell them to. So let's do that. Get these things going. We have plenty of trees planted. Now it's just a matter of storing the logs. And that is one of those things that is just going to take a while. Make sure that we have everything that we need to do here. Because we have lots of unemployed beavers, which means we should, in theory, be all set, good to go. We are making a pretty good amount of power. About 2,400. And our demand is only 1,140 currently. At least stuff that's connected here. We have a full storage of gears. Full storage of planks that we really should be increasing. If we're being honest with ourselves. So let's just put one of these right here. Make that for planks. Yeah, and then eventually, this is not going to be production. This is just here because it kind of has to be for right now. We'll give these guys a little bit more storage over here as soon as this space is cleared out. And we should be in a little bit of a better position once that happens. Now, we do have enough beavers. We have enough water flow, actually, where I'm pretty comfortable putting in a couple more pumps. Just have to find good places for them. In areas that will make sense, given what we have going on here. I think this probably is not the worst place for one. It's not the best one either. That's probably actually a really good spot. And this would be right here too. Just have those right next to each other. Connect them with one path. Get them pumping out of here. Make sure this is set to pause when drought starts, unpause when it ends. Wish I could make that my default behavior for the pumps. Because with this much storage, we aren't going to have to worry about however long the drought is, because we know it's going to be a maximum of 9 days. And as long as we don't have a crazy huge amount of beavers, probably are not going to have any problems. Now what I really need is for them to use more of these stinking potatoes. I swear. We have so many potatoes, we don't need them. We do not need so many potatoes. And I don't have any, you know, I guess I don't really have any problems storing potatoes over here if I were actually paying attention to how the platforms and stuff are lined up. So let's build some platforms here. Please do not crash, thank you. And I think, I know this is ugly, but actually I lied. We're not going to do this yet until I have a little bit of a better grasp on how this stuff is going to stack up. I think I probably, I did not do myself any favors with how this is set up at all. So I was thinking, you know, I could just put a storage under here and then build on top of that, but, you know, like I said, I did not do anything intelligent here. So I'll tell you what we'll do. Take this out, because we have the ability now. I'm going to put a ladder in place, because that can connect on both sides. Get that built. As soon as that's done, I can get rid of this path, and I can put a little medium storage under here. And then, there we go. Look at that. Very good. This, yeah, that should connect that up nicely. And in fact, you know what this needs? He says after thinking he had every one of these little problems solved, this needs another ladder. Yeah, that's going to work quite nicely. Then we'll have this all connected here, and then we can come down here. Their medium warehouse, and you guessed it, put in some more of those packaged foods. And then you want to know what's going on top of there? Well, eventually, once I have all my other platforms in place. Yeah, let's put another little one here. Is there anything else I can put in that's not going to be completely stupid? We could just go ahead and make that one for books, even though we don't have any books yet. We'll get there. Put those two in that spot, and then put a large warehouse up on top here. I know this is not super good looking, but we are going to fix this eventually. Don't worry. We're just scaling a little bit early. Guess what? It's packaged foods. We're just going to make a whole bunch of these things. Stick them anywhere we can find. Look, they already filled this up. And they still have not gotten any of these stinking potatoes out of here. Like, look at this. Look at this. These potatoes have been here for, at this point, multiple cycles. Unharvested. We need to be going through so many more potatoes. I think it's because when you do the grilled potatoes, it actually increases the amount of resources that you have. We just have to overwhelm the production with so much demand that they're forced to take these potatoes. Or I could just delete them, you know. That's always an option. But I never really like the idea of doing that if it's at all preventable. So, guess what we're going to do here? I'm going to put another one of these in. Put even more of those packaged foods. These are going to go away as soon as we have our central storage, but if I have the chance to, you know, actually put a whole bunch of these in here, then guess what? We're going to do it. Because having a whole bunch of stuff stored up is extremely good future-proofing. Yeah, see, now we're starting to see some of this stuff disappear. And that's what we want. We want them to be using all of these resources so we can figure out what our deficiencies are. We already know sunflower seeds are a huge one. But we haven't seen them take any of these potatoes yet. Not a single one for multiple cycles. And yet, pretty much everything else is respectably stocked. Even the grilled potatoes are only about half full here. We have a full warehouse of raw potatoes. That's not a grill. This is a grill for spatterdock. This is the grill for potatoes. There's almost 120 in there. Like, we're seemingly find one potato becomes 4 grilled potatoes. So no wonder they're not using any of that stuff. Now, what I probably should be doing is making a big storage for grilled potatoes and then eventually turning it into storage for the packaged foods, because now we really need those sunflower seeds. So we'll just, maybe against our better judgment, put this here. Again, this is not staying like this, so don't worry. It's just one of those temporary things. Got our waters looking good. In fact, I'm going to put another medium-sized one right here. I just want to make sure we have as much water stored up as we possibly can and get these guys going a little more now that we have Now that we have the extra capacity here, why don't we just go ahead and go full-on Amazon rainforest destruction here and just get rid of all of these pine trees as fast as we possibly can. We have the extra beavers to do it, so you know what they say, might as well make a quick work of this with many hands and get stuff going. Look at this, we got more and more water storage going up. We got about 2430 capacity. We're working on it, folks. We are working on it. Grow potatoes slowly making their way into our giant storage. Just one of those things that's going to take some time. And I think we're probably so good on potatoes right now, might as well just make all of the rest of this sunflowers. In fact, what I'll go ahead and do is I'll just replant this as sunflowers so they can get a head start on that, and then of course these as they are taken away. Yeah, see, look how much faster this is going over here now. Making plenty of space. So somewhere over here, we're going to figure out how we want our paths to be routed, and then figure out where we want to come up on this side, because we have this little elevated spot here. Probably would not be the worst way to get over here. So let's see, I think probably right about here. I should put ladders here. Probably. Yes, I don't know. We also need to be aware that none of this is blocked off, and that's an entirely different can of worms to get into that. We're going to have a district over here for probably a while before we even start attempting this. So we are going to have to just go ahead and get started in some capacity. Now we could also use this little island for a headquarters, I guess you could say. Probably would not be the worst thing ever. We're not going to be doing any farming here, obviously. We're just going to be importing the food and the water, so well, I kind of like the idea of having this be the little HQ, honestly. So if we were to do that, have this come in this side, just have this come across like so. There we go. We'll just have this sit right here. And then I think the district crossing can probably be right about here. This spot, as soon as these trees are taken care of. Then I think that's going to work out pretty nicely. Put this guy here. Put another metal stairs like we like to do. There's probably no reason to be building these everywhere, but why not, right? Why not? Let's build that there, and then these guys will have to start taking these trees out, but we have the ability to do that. Lumberjack flag here. Go ahead and pre-mark all of this for cutting. There we go. Don't think we need to have those, but just in case. So this will be a good spot to set up shop. We'll have some housing and we'll have some food storage right here. We'll get there. We'll see how all of this is looking. And I believe district crossing, we can go ahead and research that. And this can go right here on the border, actually. Probably will be a good spot for it. Of course, there's this one tree here. I'm not going to worry about waiting for that to grow. We'll just demolish it. And here comes our drought. 7 days. We have 2,200 water stored up. Look at that. How about that? That is a lot of water. That is a lot of water. And we have these trees that are now ready for cutting. So we'll unpause those lumberjack flags, put those guys to work. Yeah, and they can cut all these maple trees down. You better believe it. And one thing we wanted to do, you guys pointed out in the comments, we want to turn these piles next to the lumberjack flags into supply. In fact, we'll do that anywhere else that I've put one of these things. I actually don't remember. I think they might have been over here. Yes. Turn these all into supply. And I think that's the only other spot that we have those. But anyway, of course, the reason we want to do that is so we can have the haulers grab from those first, so they're pretty much constantly empty, would be the idea. we did get a comment saying I put my forester in the wrong spot, and this one can't reach there either. So, yeah, unfortunately, there is a spot here where the foresters don't reach. I don't really have any plans to fix that. It's not like it's the end of the world. Oh, hey, Joe. Where are you going with that pickaxe in your hand? I guess. Oh, this guy plants trees. He doesn't cut them down. Hey, he's not floating off on the side of something this time. So that's cool. I think maybe that was something to do with the graphical glitch. I know we had the X parts of these guys were floating off to the side, but they look like they're more or less in this correct spot here. I think everything's fine. Because I also wanted to put in these little archways. Yeah, so somebody in Discord suggested, I do not remember who it was, somebody in the Discord suggested that the flipping mod had some sort of something to do with that. Which is unfortunate because I really, really like the flipping mod. I would rather it not be broken, but I don't think it's been updated for update 3. So that is definitely an easy explanation for that. Hey, look, they're taking the potatoes. Finally, let's plant these sunflowers here. Get things all caught up. Alright, so we should have, yep, that ready to go. Oh, the color scheme on the district crossings changed. At least I think it has. Yeah, it used to be the pink, blue, and white. Now it's the yellow and the green and the white. I wonder if that's a faction-only thing, or if that was just a Pride Month Easter egg. I don't know. Well, either way, it's fine like this. Okay, so this has to be its own... yep. I did a dumb. So, okay, here's what we're going to do. This might be a little sketchy, but I'm going to put this district center down here in the bottom, and we're going to get these guys migrated over here. And we got berries. Actually, hold on. Let's manage distribution. Let's turn off... okay, I want to turn off berries. I want to turn off all of these foods, with the exception of the packaged foods. That way we don't have to worry about any of this garbage. It's just not worry about it, because we know we can supply all of the food. Just make things nice and simple. Always import the packaged food. Never import the berries. And then everything else should take care of itself. I wonder why the biofuels. That used to be the catalyst? No. Okay. Never mind. I have to get used to playing with the Folktales faction again. So I guess that's for the... Why can I not remember? The bots. Yeah, we'll leave that alone. So they can import packaged food. And then we'll send some beavers over here, because this isn't going to flood for another 4 days, which will give us enough time to cut down some of these trees. Alright, so we got bread. Why are they importing bread? There's no reason to be importing bread or cattail crackers or any of this stuff. We just want the packaged foods. In fact, I specifically said, do not import this. So why are you the way that you are, importing this stuff we do not want or need? Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. Let's get 4 of these guys in here. I guess we'll just import 5. Yeah. Get building. See what they actually import in terms of ways to build stairs. Metal blocks, I think they probably won't import unless they have a place to actually stick the stuff. Yeah, so that's, looks like that's how that's set up. So we'll just stick one of those piles right there so they can get that. And then hopefully they can start taking this stuff out and we can move this up here before the drought's over. Yeah, so I did want to take the opportunity to ask you guys, what should these districts be named? I know it's still very early in the playthrough, but I want to start that communication a lot earlier than before. Because it seems like in the last one, we named the districts and then, I don't know, might have been 10 episodes later we were done. So if we can get these things going early, I think that's a little bit better. A little bit more fun for everybody involved. So I will take name suggestions in the comments, as always, and then we'll run a poll at some point, maybe next week, based off of suggested options. Now, this has metal blocks here. So that means that can go there, and then this can go here. Cool, so now they're going to start taking these things down. Somebody should be working here. Yep, four of them are working the district crossing, of course. Alright, so that means we need more than 5. I'll give them 6, just so we have one guy to build. Get these trees brought down. Actually, I'm going to make him into another lumberjack as well. There we go. So, alright, so we got Boig Boy and we got... Okay, that's not a beard booster. that's just a regular dude. Alright, so Boig Boy, you are the lumberjack in chief here in District Number 2. Getting this thing all prepared, ready to go. And then, of course, we're going to have, at some point, some sort of a bridge or a causeway over here to get scrap metal, but we're not worried about that right now. We're just trying to get this all started here. Now, these small trees, half grown. Okay, now I'm just going to get rid of those. And we're going to build a big old storage network here. We have plenty of space. So I think... So we can unlock the underground pile for 1,000. Yeah, let's do that. Takes a lot of gears. But I think we want to be able to have plenty of storage for logs and building materials right here on the other side. So everything can be nice and coordinated. So I think I'm going to want to stick one of these here. Make that for logs. And then... the other side, and this is not the most beautiful setting possible for all of this stuff, but we're working on it. Put some planks here. Just get everything nice and connected. And then over here, we're going to have some storage for other things. Again, it's probably mostly going to be these packaged foods. And then we'll let the supply and demand take care of everything else in that regard. So if I have... this right here for the storage of that stuff. We'll have a large tank. Water, I guess we could put probably right here is fine. We can connect that up with the path. And we can put some other smaller storages here if we feel so inclined. Right now, I don't think we really need to worry about it. Yeah, they are running out of space. We only have 1 day where this starts flooding again. So let's put in a couple of piles for log storage. Get the rest of this stuff done. Then we got to get this district brought back up here and put some housing in and all that good stuff. So we will get there in due time. Now this district actually has a deficit of beavers currently because we have all these new things that went in. Don't think that's going to be too much of an issue. Okay, so I have to have one of these guys come back in to the district center. There we go. Alright, now I gotta... There we go. Just weird rebalancing of stuff. Oh man, we're almost out of time. Come on, come on, come on. I know this isn't going to flood for a while, but it's still a little nerve-wracking. We'll be alright in the end. We just have to get all this stuff done. Come on, I want to put this in a spot that makes sense. I don't want it to just be all dumb looking here. Alright, now they're thirsty because they haven't gone over here to get their water yet. Alright, now come on. Cut this stuff down. There we go. Place these things in there. The water will be here before we know it. We got to get this district center moved up before that happens. And I wanted to put it kind of in the center of this. Maybe up on top of some stuff. I don't know if we're going to be in that spot or not. Just quite yet. We'll see. But we are going to move it before it floods. There we go. We're working on it. We're working on it. I love how they're taking the metal blocks out of this to go to this other district to build all this storage. Look at that. We got a bunch of logs going in here. Planks eventually going in here. Large warehouses, etc. Alright, so here comes the water. Almost, I wanted to put it like right here in the middle. But we're going to end up moving it, I think, a little bit sooner than that. Alright, so let's get rid of that. And then I guess I'll settle. Guess I'll settle for it being right about here's fine. We'll probably end up moving it again. But yeah. So of course now these guys are going to go away. That's going to have to go away. There we go. Now they're back to their usual antics. So let's start off with a little bit of storage here for water. We'll just place that probably right outside here is fine. Storage for water. We'll have a storage for the food here. Just right around the outside. This will all get to be much better looking as time goes by. Just one of those things. You got to start off a little ugly so you can appreciate when stuff looks good later. Okay, now raw materials wise, we're not looking terrible yet. Actually kind of low on carrots, surprisingly. I did not think it was going to be that big of a deal with the carrots, so maybe we need to replant some of this stuff as carrots. Just to try and keep up. So I'll give the carrots back, say 2 rows of sunflowers. And then we'll recapture this as they're harvested. We don't have a lot of raw storage for stuff like the sunflowers. Sunflower seeds, excuse me. So we have all these little spots here that need to be filled up with stuff. So why don't we just make a couple of these for the sunflower seeds so I can ever remember where any of these things go. Ah, geez. All right, there we go. Sunflower seeds right there at the bottom. All right, and that'll have a place to hold some of those. And I think that was probably one of the only ones that didn't have an actual... I thought... Okay, no, I had one that was going to make it for maple pastries, but turned it into something else. So let's turn this one into maple pastries because we have plenty of room in this large warehouse. Just have them shift those upstairs. This can be used for storing maple pastries. Yep, looking good, looking good. Let's get these carrots growing again. It's going to be one of those things. Probably just a whole bunch of trial and error on what kind of a storage volume and everything else that we need. So do bear with me in that regard. We got plenty to do to figure out exactly what's going on. Good news though is these guys are, well, they're doing their best. It's not exactly a beaver utopia over here quite yet. But we can build them some lodges. This shouldn't ever get that deep. But we can't have these things flooding. So now I got to think about how this is going to... how this is going to stick in here. This probably isn't the worst idea to have this set up right here. I'm just trying to think exactly how this is going to work. If we have one of these guys set right here, we could just put in 3 of these in a row. Then we could actually just have a platform going across here. And then some stairs would probably be sufficient. Yes, we'll make them metal stairs before you ask. And that should work pretty well for right now. Give them a place to sleep. We'll have room for them to make some more eager beavers over here. Start harvesting these trees and everything. I don't have the resources to do... well, I guess I do have resources for the suspension bridges. We have plenty of science anyway, so let's just unlock these. Let's see, if I put one here, I could do 3x3, but then I have to, yeah, I've got to get these trees. Yeah, I've got to get them cut up first before I can build anything going across. So why don't we, I guess we'll just put in a pair of ladders and I will, guess I'll just get rid of these. Those 4. I think we'll be fine. Just little pine trees. We're not really hurting for it anyway. We can't build the metal stairs because I don't have a pile for metal storage. So chalk that one up for me, forgetting that I'd already demolished it. So that won't be a huge problem. We are going to have storage for gears also. Boy, what a pain it can be sometimes to set up a new district if you're not thinking entirely clearly. Now, is this within range? Yes. So I believe we should be okay. It's one pine tree. I guess we don't really need to cut it down, but it is kind of in the way of where I wanted this to go. So I think we'll just eat that one, get rid of that, and just call it a day. Now you might be wondering why I have this ladder here when I wanted it to connect over here, and that's so I could build both sections of bridge at the same time, and then take this ladder away after and not have to worry about getting rid of it first. So they should be able to, yep, waiting on planks. Now don't tell me if I want planks over here I have to have dedicated storage for it. So I've got one right here. Planks are set to always import, so I wonder what the problem is. Really should not be an issue because we already had some in here. And I think we should, yeah, okay, they're bringing it. They're just a little slow. Just a little bit. All right, so back over here, how are things looking? All right, let's replant these carrots here. Supply is definitely not where it needs to be, and I think that's probably the carrots' fault. Yep. Everything else is looking pretty good, pretty decent. Fortunately, the carrots grow quickly. We might need to give them even more space. I think that might be smart as we move forward into this. Look at all these grown potatoes. My God. Who in the world needs this many potatoes? I think that'll end up equaling out a little bit. Now, these guys, they are still cutting as many logs as they possibly can. These are all marked. Actually, these ones on the top aren't. I should get to that. There we go. So I guess we just don't have enough log storage for them to be using here. Although we do have this giant one, and it's about half full. So I think if we set this one up to obtain, that might help us out a little bit. Prioritize by haulers, give those guys something to do. Of course, this probably should also be set to obtain, but we don't have a whole lot going on right now anyway because we're missing some of the carrots. Now, waiting on planks. I guess I probably also need to have a pile for planks. This is all mess that will eventually get better. But it's going to take a while. We've got quite a bit to do before we can really be super happy with that. But I will go ahead, put that suspension bridge in so they can start construction. And then, assuming that I've been intelligent, which I have not, good job, me. This has to be a 4x on the other side. Oh, and that requires metal. No. Oh no. Oh, I did a stupid here. That's what I did. I didn't want to use 20 blocks of metal for that. Definitely not. Alright, so that's going to be a project for a little bit later on down the line, when I can have stuff that actually makes sense where it needs to be going. I might end up just putting a platform here, in all honesty, and just building off of that, so we don't have to use metal. Yeah, let's just do that. I think that's going to be easier for everybody involved. Now, this water should probably also be set to obtain here. And how many do we have in our haulers? Do we still have full up at 10? Yep, looks like it. So we're actually completely equal on jobs versus beavers currently. But this is going to go up and down based on how our kits age, or do not age, rather. Flywheels. Now, we're only supplying... This actually shouldn't be... Why are we only supplying 1063? Okay, the windmills aren't turning. That's what the problem is. That's exactly what's happening here. Alright, so... Set to obtain. So maybe we just need more haulers. That's probably what the deal is. We will get there in due time. It's gonna take a little while. Yeah, so we're just waiting on the planks here. We do have storage, finally, for planks. So these guys can do what they need to do. This is a little bit of a hike for them currently. But in the long run, once everything is set up nicely, we should be in pretty decent shape. Now, let's see, are there any more of these I can replant as carrots? Looks like there's at least 2. Yep, there we go. Got to get those carrot numbers up. Potatoes seem to be completely fine. Wheat seems to be completely fine. Probably would not be a bad idea to have some carrots grown here also. So I will put in on the outside here, we'll unplant these as wheat and we'll replant them as carrots once these get harvested. Which actually shouldn't be too much longer. We have our wheat flour storage. We still have plenty of space left in here. There we go. We'll just individually replant these as time allows. It's a fine balancing act, friends. Just takes a while to really figure out exactly what your plan is, but once everything starts getting set up, then it's probably going to be okay. Now, these guys are not really going to need to be here. I guess we could let them cut these last couple of pine trees down, but when that's done, they're going to be headed across the way here. And we got to get them to take some of this stuff away. So we'll give them access to that. There we go. And then we'll start making inroads over here. Eventually harvesting metal, although we really don't need it right now. We're doing pretty okay with the amount of metal storage we have. It's obviously not ideal, but it's not the worst thing ever. Packaged food storage. We have so much packaged food storage. Piles. These are just so big. I'm used to the iron teeth where you can stack them. But I guess for right now, we'll just need to provide some places for them to just store some extra metal. So this guy doesn't ever have to shut down. Okay, so they need scrap metal. This can change to scrap metal. And they can put that over into these guys. There we go. Because we do have plenty of scrap metal over here that we can still be harvesting. Joski over here, disassembling the ruins of humanity. Joe over here still doing forester things. Who's in this one? Okay, that's not one of our beard boosters. Devilish Fun working on a hauling post, as before with Texas Game Mom, GinUpTheWater. And I don't think there's any other boosters in there. Nano Corey's in the smelter. Jared Murphy's over here in the builder's hut. Fabrizio's over here in the district center. Let's see, who else? We're Kumiko, a humble farmer here in the efficient farmhouse. Steve the forester. Skrymer U pumping away at the logs over here. Well, I guess not right now, because that's the only one that's not going. There we go. Tanake over here in the farmhouse. Who else? Dirttracker chopping logs. Helfenstein chopping logs. Pekempy over here in the district crossing. As we already knew, Boy over here, now working in the district center. And what is that? Oh, I thought that said Virginia, but just phoneticized. I was like, wow, that'd be pretty funny. All right, so we have our suspension bridge here, looking good. Let's put our first piece of path. Set up these lumberjack flags here. We'll at least put one of them here. Get them starting to chop these trees all down. I know we're probably not going to be able to reach all of these, but at least having them marked will give us no excuse in the future to have forgotten that. So we just have to wait for this to get finished. We need a couple more planks. That's going to be nice and connected, and then we can get rid of this underground path here. Just about done, and it is done, so that can go away. Let's go ahead and get rid of that path, as well as this one. And there we go. Now, I did make the solemn promise that our underwater paths would be the frog paths. So, in keeping with that, let's go ahead and make these into frog paths. And there we go. Frog paths underwater here. These will be fixed as well. Get rid of those because we don't need those at all. I like that the frogs are going to be facing a nice direction, at least for these. Those are looking good. We'll worry about these other paths because these aren't really permanent. This one, I guess, is. So let's take care of this. I guess it doesn't really matter. There we go. Alright, and I had that in the wrong spot to begin with. There we go. That's done. This will fix it some other time. I kind of want to connect this with just a regular bridge or a viaduct or what have you. Yeah, we're still missing carrots. Still running out of carrots. So we'll see. Yeah, we can plant a few more here. Alright, here comes another drought for us. 3 days left. Log storage, we're looking pretty good. We have about 2,500 capacity. We're about, I don't know, 300-ish under that. These guys now can't actually access the rest of the trees. So let's get rid of one of them. And by one of them, I mean two. So they can get to the rest of this stuff. Well, for right now, I don't think we really need to be concerned about building any more storage right here. We can't fill what we already have. So we probably need to be focusing on growing more carrots if we're being honest. But sunflower seeds are looking a lot better. In fact, I think I can take away another full row of sunflowers to put in some more carrots based on the capacity that I'm seeing currently. But that also could be because we're not making enough of these beaver bentos, just because we have so much other stuff going on. So we're probably going to have to wait for the carrot production to catch up a little bit before we really have a complete picture of what's going on. But so far, stuff is looking pretty good. Don't really have too many complaints otherwise. Yeah, and see, now we're getting to work here. We have this one tree needs to get taken care of. Oh, you got broken teeth? All right. Well, guess what? Oh, I guess I should have him go work somewhere else and then bring somebody back in here. There you go. You don't have broken teeth. And then put in a tooth grindstone. Probably should do that right here. This is going to be where most of that action's happening. Then we can get rid of that guy. And then eventually do something else there. So this district has, right now at least, plenty of food and plenty of water for the beavers that are sitting there. In the process of getting these trees, storing those. Gonna have to have some more log storage somewhere over here. Not entirely sure how that's going to work. We will get there at some point. All of this water is going to go away. And I think we probably don't really have enough in the way of access to all of these things. But we definitely want to start. Now, forgive me for not putting frog paths all the way over here. But we've got quite a bit of traveling to do to get our beaver builders all the way over here. We've got lots of distance to cover. I know it's going to take a really long time to build all of this. So let's see here. I'm just going to start at the far end here. Turn these into levees. And then have the actual outlet be somewhere up here, probably. Because we're not going to be generating power right here. By the time we actually need to do production in this district, we're going to have this all set up here. And of course, if we have to, we can find somewhere to stick these things. But I did want to go ahead and give them some sort of building projects. We'll have these three. Obviously, they're not going to be done by the time this drought is here. They're not going to be done by the time it's over either, because this is a very long distance. It's not going to tell me the distance because it's not actually a building that can perform a job. But I think it could be almost, by the time it's all said done, it could be like 150-ish, maybe. Yeah, we'll let them take care of that. We got a nice 7-day drought here. Again, we have plenty of water, plenty of food. Don't really have too much to worry about over here. We can focus our attention on trying to get some more of these other food things taken care of. We're still waiting on all these carrots to grow. And we got some more wheat taking its sweet time. Fortunately, the carrots only take 4 days, so it's not going to be that big of a deal. But it is holding us back quite severely at the moment. Now we have 10 unemployed beavers. Why is that? Is that because of all the stuff that got turned off? It looks like, oh, look, here's that glitch back again. Where this guy is just, you know, chilling. Completely offset the entire way. I don't know, maybe the graphics in the game are just kind of messed up. Although this is one that I flipped for aesthetic purposes, so maybe it's not fixed after all. I don't know. We'll see. I still really like the shrubs. I think that is a fantastic space divider. And as we reconfigure this area to be a little bit nicer looking, we are going to be doing some of that as well. For now, this whole area is pretty much completely dry. But there is water and there is food. Well, if you want to walk all the way over here for it. And they have this really tiny little levee, at least starting the process of taking care of all that. Now the dandelions are all dead. Trees, really none of the trees in pretty much any map on normal should ever die from not being watered, unless they're ones that spawn at the beginning of the map. Because, well, these tiles are never going to be irrigated long enough to keep a tree alive. But the rest of them should be fine. Now, other things we might want to get to eventually, and as we've discussed in some of the comments, instead of having dams here, these probably should be floodgates that open during the wet season and close during droughts, just automatically because we do have that option. I'm not going to mess with that during a drought because that's going to let all the water out, but I think that could be a good thing for us to get into at some point. We do still have the path going here, so I think what we'd want to do is have maybe 3 floodgates here that are completely open during the temperate season and then completely closed during the drought. So we'll get there when we get there. We've got a few more days left to take care of all that. So let's get to work on some other stuff here. Yeah, we got a severe lack of carrots. It seems to just be the order of the day here, but we do have some more coming in, so should not be that big of a deal. In fact, I'm going to go ahead, since we have these berries over here, I'm going to kill these berries off and just plant some more carrots, because it really doesn't matter if we have too many carrots. Now that we know they could be a bottleneck, probably should have done this at the very start, if we're being completely honest with ourselves. It is nice they do gather those berries, it seems. Then all of this wheat should be collected here. The wheat flour actually isn't filling up as fast as I thought it would. Cattail flour, where do we have that? Right here, yeah, that's almost completely full. So we have tons of cattail. We probably don't have enough wheat, honestly. So we only have 6 of this. Yeah, maybe I should have, yeah, I'll tell you what. We'll plant some more carrots here, and then I think we're going to have to keep expanding the wheat. I've probably took too much wheat away. And we may also end up being concerned about how our potatoes are functioning eventually. I know that sounds insane with the amount of potatoes that we have. But as the game goes on, we are going to be consuming more of those. So it's only natural that there's something that we have to keep a little bit closer of an eye on here. Alright, there we go. I'm going to unplant these 2 rows of carrots, and we're going to replant those as wheat whenever the time comes. I don't know why I'm so afraid of losing the berries. We really, I mean, the packing plants don't even use them, so it really should not be an issue at all. It just, for some reason, there's this, I guess, paranoia about the berries that it's a carryover from all the Iron Teeth playthroughs. But we really, really don't need them. There we go. As long as that's in range, it looks like it is. This will be replanted as wheat. And after all that shuffling, I really should have just left it alone and planted more carrots. But, you know, you live and you learn. I don't pretend to be an expert at the game. I just have made a lot of videos. Sometimes I make really dumb mistakes, as you all have seen. But that makes it fun, you know? Adds the nice human element to everything. So it looks like this, yeah, this is just about done. So we'll have at least this guy holding water. I don't think we're going to get either of these 2 finished before the end of the drought. Well, you never know. We do still have plenty of food. We have plenty of water. There's a decent supply of logs. So I don't think we really need to be too terribly worried. The main worrying thing here is the amount of scrap metal we have. And I know we're going to want to have some sort of smelting happening over here, but it's going to be so hard to actually get power because, well, to get any amount of water flow, you're going to have to create a huge, huge network of dams and levees, or you just try to use windmills. But let's face it, they're not super reliable, even with the flywheels, and we do love the flywheels. Even with those, it's really not that sustainable of a thing. But I think we have to at least try, and we do have plenty of science, so we might as well go ahead and research the large windmill. And it doesn't really matter which way you orient this, does it? No. So I'm going to stick this guy here. I'll put 3 of them on the end. I know that's a ton. There's a ton of paper and a ton of this other stuff. We aren't even storing it all over here. So let's give ourselves a little bit of a spot for paper here. I guess I'll just do that. So at the very least we can import it. Let these guys get to work here. Of course, we'll use our flywheels. We have the medium flywheels that use metal, but we don't have enough metal. I'm sure we're going to be using those soon enough. But for the time being, let's use our small flywheels that we love so much. Yeah, so we'll stick a couple of these to start. See what ends up being possible for us to actually construct based off of how everything is set up. And then we'll see what happens. Now these guys are going to want to build these first, which, fair, I guess. We have a reason for that to be somewhat of a smart idea. So this district now has 12. We actually have some unemployed beavers. Did not think that was going to be a thing. And we do have some extra spots, so I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead, put in a builder's hut here. Just so we have the, I wanted to say manpower, but it's beaver power. Let's make that the priority. Then we can employ the beavers there and build these things just a little faster. Our starving beavers, they really shouldn't be starving. We have plenty of food. We have a ridiculous amount of food, actually. Flywheels, unfortunately, not super well charged, but it is almost the end of the drought, so, you know, not the end of the world. Yeah, let's replant this as wheat. Okay, these are almost done, but I am going to go ahead and replant this just so we're not quite so far behind. Man, this carrots, though, I'm telling you. We really, really need some more carrots. Really, really can use them. All things considered, though, I think we're doing quite well. 13 unemployed beavers. We really don't have that many things that have been paused, do we? Huh. Well, I guess we do. We'll find out. Are we full on logs again? Wow, okay. That's working out all right. Now we got twice as many builders. Hey, look at this. They got this one done. Very cool. Working here, and then hopefully we can get this going. I do think we can go ahead and, yeah, we can stick 2.5 of these things. Yeah, that'll work fine to have these two set right here. I'm not going to build them right now. No, not by any means. But once we have power adequate, remember these take 200 apiece. Supposedly, the large windmills will produce 400. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pause these guys real quick. I want them to build this first. We're going to need that eventually, but I want them to build this first. And then I want them to build the smelters here. But since we're so close on our levees here, we're actually making really good time. And I think I can do them a little bit of a favor and cut this trip just a tiny bit shorter without having to make them go all the way around. There we go. I know that only cuts out like 12 tiles worth of travel, but hey, every little bit counts. Query Everything was born. Hey, that's a Patreon supporter. I think that was our, not technically the first one, but one of the very, very first ones. Ravennia Marie. Richard G. Died of old age. Rest in peace. Let's actually take a moment and just look here. We got Ace. We've got alvsindre, I believe is how that's pronounced. Boogie Boy, of course, we already knew about. Devilish Fun, we've known. Dirttracker, known about. Dr. Helfenstein, seen him before. Drexo 17. Fabrizio, Fraktured 23. We've got Gary Riffel, GinUpTheWater. gtmonica, Håkan over here. Jared Murphy. We've got Jelby, Joe Coulter. We've got Joski. We've got... Scrolling. MallesBixie, Mohamed. Tharwat, Nano. We've got Pekempy. We've got... We're Kumiko. We've got Query. Everything is a kit, I believe, currently. Skrymer U, Steve LaFurla, Other Steve. Tonica, Texas Game Mom. We've got Wilco over here, and then, of course, Kurt down here at the bottom. I guess the acrylic character's going to shove him way down here. There we go. It's back up to 28. Query Everything, Ravennia Marie, down here in the Beaver Child stat. So, yeah, we've got a pretty good amount of the beard boosters already accounted for, and this is done. Which means they should be building, yep, waiting on paper. But should be building the windmill sooner rather than later. I'm going to go ahead and plop in a smelter here. And then in between, put in a small flywheel to connect everything up. And then I think it's about time for us to start harvesting scrap metal. I'll put 2 of those guys right there, so they can get that job going. And this should be pretty close to working here. And then once these 3 are going, then we'll be on our way, well on our way, to making things look a little bit better here. Build this across right that way. Make sure that access is looking good. Alright, come on. Just about done. Flywheel in place. We just need this one scrap of paper. And I believe that is what they're going to be delivering, hopefully pretty soon. It's amazing that our well-being is already as high as 21, despite there being almost nothing else to do over here except work, sleep, and eat. Alright, so now we just have to have somebody come finish this, and hopefully it'll start storing some power for us. There we go, and it's, well, it was turning. There we go. Slowly charging up the flywheel. Smelter is on its way to being built, so you know what that means. We're going to bust out additional flywheels. I don't know why it wouldn't let me click that, but there we go. Actually, no, we don't want that one. We want them to I want them to build this one first so it doesn't get a... Wow, look at that. That's a fast one. I don't want them to get trapped is why I didn't want to build in front of it. When we have a whole lot more metal, we're going to consolidate all of these into these more energy-dense options, I guess you could say. It all takes time. Actually, no, I can't build that one yet. I need them to finish this one. There we go. It's an exercise in patience. Okay, so I'm going to move the builder's hut down in priority so we can get somebody in the smelter. Smelting away. Looking good, looking good. We need to put some creature comforts in here, but that's probably going to be a next episode thing. I just really want to make sure we get some metal refining going in our second district here first. I wonder why they built this one first instead of this one. Okay, no, that's because they're waiting on the gears. Alright, progress is being made. Albeit slowly, but it is being made, and that's the important thing. Looks like our carrots have begun to catch up. Yeah, you can see that reflected in the number of our packaged foods that we have here. This is all looking substantially better. Very good, very good. I think we're going to be okay once the carrots get a little bit more into the swing of things. And it looks like that's going to be the case very, very soon. That is excellent news. As soon as we have enough of our beaver bentos where we don't have to worry about it ever again, then I think we're going to be in a really, really good spot. Cool. So that is looking nice. Let's continue our stuff here. As soon as that's done, I'm going to put in these four-ways. Nope. Four-way intersections. After I build this windmill. Just so we have everything able to be connected here. Power slowly charging up. I love these things. What a great mod. Yeah, we got plenty of paper. We're just waiting on the beavers to get in here and take care of all their stuff. We actually have an unemployed beaver, but that's not going to be a problem for long because we're going to have another one of these smelters pretty soon. Going to be the next thing we build. Actually, I think we're probably in a decent enough position now to make that happen. Boy, this sure is efficiency right here, isn't it? It's not pretty, but min-maxing space is the only way I currently know how to play the game. We're going to make it look nicer in the future, don't worry. It's just a very, very hard habit to break. This is looking good here. We have this flowing out on this side. Not currently a huge concern of mine, but it is good that this is taken care of. That's going to be kind of an annoying thing to deal with later if it's not taken care of quite so early. All right, let's get these three in place. Unpause that guy. Get them building all of this fun stuff. And now all of this is going to be connected. We'll have a nice storage. Very nice producing power here. Looking good, just waiting on gears. Just waiting on gears. Which we do have. Alright, so we've got right now, until this kit grows up, we have pretty much perfect job balance. And then once the kit does grow up and the smelter's built, then we will have perfect job balance. With our 18 beavers over here. And we do have injuries, which is going to be annoying to deal with without having another healer over here. So we are going to need to put in a bed. We'll just stick that right here, just so it's available, even if it's not going to work perfectly. Something's better than nothing. Okay, so let's put in another flywheel here. And then I think we can go ahead and just, unpause all these. Everything's nice and connected. Look at these things go. They are turning, they're draining actually, because they don't have that third windmill supplying all their power to it. Look at us, we're going here. We got a second district up and running. It looks like now the sticking point for our beaver bentos is the maple pastries. But that shouldn't be the case because... Okay, maybe we need a little bit more of a speedy approach to wheat and wheat flour. Seems like we're actually out of wheat, which I did not think was going to be a huge issue. Huh. Well, we have plenty of potatoes. So now I can't help but wonder if we're just chasing different gremlins every single time we change how the farms are looking. Maybe we just need to leave it alone. See what happens. We do have 2,800 of the bentos already set up good to go. And now we have so much wood. We have completely full storage. Well, just about. And we're not really spending that much, which is, I guess, good. But at the same time, that means we could be doing a little bit more here. So why don't we try... Let's see. Now, I don't think I want to block off all of this completely, but we do want to try and make sure that there's one controlled exit that's easily exploitable. eventually... Okay, maybe we mess with this next time, because this is a very, very long distance far away construction project. And we're not going to have that much time left in this one. Already at, what, an hour 19, hour 20? Got plenty more to be doing here. Alright, so this now is ready for us to put in some more flywheels. We'll just stick those in like that because they're all connected on the universal joints. Well, technically this is the universal joint, but I digress. Just get those built, store some more power. And there you go. We're making metal blocks that we aren't currently doing anything with, but we should be exporting to this district, actually. If we take a look at our distribution, how's this set up? Alright, so what we need to do, we need to really start storing metal blocks. So I think we're going to want to go ahead and build ourselves an underground pile of metal blocks. Just trying to think of if this is going to be something that makes sense to put in a spot like this, or if we want to be a little bit more intelligent about it. Because like we can always, you know, move or remove these things, but it just seems so much more permanent because, quote unquote, nothing can be built on top of this. It's like, all right, well, not technically true, not technically true. I guess I'll just put this here. That's fine. Put that metal block right there. And then I think it would benefit our beavers to have a little bit of decoration. Put a shrub here, put a beaver statue here. Give them a little bit of a boost as they're at work. Scarecrows. Do those actually benefit crops, or is it the beehives? I think it's the beehives. Yes. The scarecrows are just an aesthetic decoration. And we're not going to mess with the beehives until we have farms automated. That is a pain. All of your beavers keep getting stung. That is extremely annoying. Alright, looks like our carrot harvest has caught up substantially, so I think we're in a pretty good spot with our packing plants, assuming they can actually get supplied correctly. We're out of storage space for cattail roots? Wow, really? That seems kind of unbelievable almost. Now, why are the carrots not being moved? We do have storage for the carrots. You'd think, and these guys have been told to prioritize this building. So why? What's the deal with the carrots? Huh. Well, I guess I can't really worry about it that much. Things do seem to be going well over here, though. Generating 1,000. Wow, look at that. Flywheel's full up. They just need some more stuff to do with these guys. I think for right now we're probably looking okay. Got drought coming up in 3 days here at the end of cycle 15 wet season. So I'm not tempted to, like I said earlier, not tempted to get into this too much more. Today, at least. Because we're going to have a plan for where that water is going to go. And we're going to want to take advantage of that for, well, other purposes. But I kind of just want to make a push to start developing this. Because we have so much potential energy here with the amount of, like, down that happens. Like, we could make a nice tiered water wheel setup and make a really aesthetically pleasing just complex of production right down the middle here. Then just have all of this channeled into a single, well, on each side, a single channel, single channel. Just have it stair-step its way down as much as necessary. And I think that's going to look really, really cool. But that is an end-game thing for sure. And we're still pretty firmly cemented into the early game. But we're doing our best. We're working on it. So these guys here in District 3, which really should be District 2, I'll just go ahead and rename that real quick. Of course, if you have any ideas about names, again, please do drop them in the comments. I do like to democratize that process, so I'll let you guys vote, but I want suggestions so I can populate the polls. If you make me come up with names, it's probably not going to be the most creative thing ever. So again, please do let me know about your thoughts on that. Outside of that, it seems like we're reaching a pretty good natural stopping point for today. We'll go through the duration of the rest of the temperate season, and then we'll pick up on the drought next time for Tuesday's episode. But yeah, we've gotten a lot of good stuff done today. The production issues for the beaver bentos seem to be better. I'm not going to say they've completely solved, but now we have so much capacity to actually store these bentos that we can actually use some of our buffer here. And I think we're in a good spot. We only have only 116 beavers across both the districts, which actually is kind of a lot for early game. So I think without too much extra expansion of the farming stuff down here, I'm pretty sure we can support a couple hundred beavers. Additional couple hundred beavers if we optimize things a little bit better. Yeah, let's just take a quick stock here of what else we might want to accomplish before we say goodbye for today. We put some more metal stairs in. We did additional storage for just about everything. We've fixed the sunflower seeds issue, fixed the carrots issue that was caused by the sunflower seeds issue. We added a lot more water storage. Forester location, unfortunately, I'm not really going to do anything about this at this exact moment. Might end up moving this further back to get a little bit more coverage at some point, but for right now, I think what we'll do, I'll just unplant maybe this one. We'll unplant those 4 trees. Once those get harvested, we'll check and see if a forester there will reach everything. And then if it does, we'll move it. If not, then, well, that's just the way it is. Let's get out of triple speed. Let's go back down to 1x speed. Check these guys out. I just love watching these beavers cross bridges. I think it's so cool. A really, really nice aesthetic to the design of the game. The stuff I build in the game does not always look good, but this will improve. We'll get all the big ugly storage put in other spots, and we'll have things set up a little bit nicer. Can do more stuff like this where we have the hedges and the intentional design of the entryways and path layouts and stuff. It's going to be really, really nice, especially once we don't have to have all the tree farming up here. This would be probably better served as an actual farm with some more big beaver apartments and stuff. But yeah, that's all stuff that can come next time or a couple episodes after that. But look at this. Look at this. We got all this built up over here. We're processing metal, and we got even a little bit of this area levied up. So now the water has to come out this side. Of course, it's not going to hold anything extra when it comes to the drought, but it's a start. And it's one of those things you just kind of have to do a whole lot because this is a very, very large map. But hey, at least we don't have to worry about district limits anymore, because if we had to do this with the districts, man, this would never get done. It would take forever and ever and ever in a day and a half. And as far as storage goes, looks pretty good here. Yeah, this is going to be nice. Yeah, so that's going to be it for today. I hope you appreciated an extra episode of this on Saturday instead of a stream. Like I said, I'm out visiting some friends I haven't seen in a very long time, so that's always good. And it's very important to take advantage of those opportunities when you can. But I still wanted to make sure you guys had some sort of a Timberborn fix this weekend. So hopefully you enjoyed. Let me know what you think about having 3 episodes of this in a week. Because I did stop doing the Wednesday videos because we finished that Kingdoms Reborn series. So I'm thinking maybe we want to do 3 videos a week of this. Of course, Ostriv also still is going to want some attention there. Wasn't able to get to it this week, unfortunately. But I am still planning on continuing that, so don't worry, that's not going to go away. It just might end up being a little bit sporadic sometimes based on everything else that's going on. So yeah, that is going to be it. Please, of course, do let me know your thoughts on district names or anything else that's on your mind. If you have any suggestions for just general building or stuff you might want to see, drop those down in the comments. I do read every single comment. Can't always respond, but I do read them, and I really appreciate it when you guys take the time to let me know what's what's going on, what's on your mind, what you're thinking about, what's happening in the game. Because it is very, very fun to keep posting these and just interact with you guys. You guys are a really great audience, and I'm very thankful for you. And I'm also thankful for the beard boosters, like we said earlier, who make all this stuff possible. As I'm trying to figure out exactly what we're going to be doing with the channel next. I got a lot of really cool ideas. They just take a lot of time, and I do mean a lot of time. But we're getting pretty close to some cool new stuff I think you guys are going to like. So again, big thanks to those folks. If you want any more information on that, there's links in the description. But please do not ever feel obligated. I know I say it every time, and it might be getting old to you, but really, I'm just glad you're here. So don't ever feel like it's your obligation to send me money or do anything like that, but I just really, really appreciate you. And that is going to be the end of this video. We'll go ahead and get the day count of the next drought, and then that's going to be it. Looks like we've got a 7-day drought, so we'll get to that on Tuesday in that video. But until then, stay safe, have fun, and we will see you later. Bye-bye.